Hey, what's up guys? Antisan here, and I'm bringing you a battle replay commentary on Floodplain. My opponent is Zarganis from Mugabe Brotherhood, and I've played him quite a few times. He's a really solid player, so I know he doesn't really make too many tactical mistakes, and I think you've actually seen one of my replay commentaries of me fighting him before. But I absolutely love this map. Because of all this tree cover, it's just a perfect map for setting up ambushes and traps, things like that. And I don't know, I believe they really changed the dynamics of, a standard battle. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and pause this so I can show you my army composition. Now, in plain view, I have my main army. I have a unit of heavy gunners with 2 Matchlock Ashigaru. Then I have 5 lone swords. Now over here hidden in this forest, I have 2 sets of Matchlock Warrior Monks, vanilla. And then I have 3 Yari Cav and 2 of my Great Guard. And up here as well, I have some of these new DLC bandits. And what's cool about these guys is inherently they have the sniping ability, which means they can stay hidden and shoot while they're hidden, so your opponent will not even see them unless he brings his units close enough. So, I didn't really bring them to rack up kills or anything like that. They aren't a very elite unit, and I haven't invested any points in them. But the idea was to, just surprise him, get him to, take a step back, try to figure out what's going on, and allow me to get my army in position. And, part of my idea with the strategy was, go ahead and present my heavy gunners, and get off a few shots if I can. I'm not really worried about them. They weren't really the focal point of my army, but I figured if I had them exposed, then I could sneak up my Matchlock Warrior Monks and secretly set them in position. So, maybe he'd make a preemptive charge at them, and then all of a sudden, bam, here come my Matchlock Warrior Monks. But anyways, you look at my opponent's army, he's got a pretty good build. He's got 4 Yari Ashigaru, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And then I believe he has 8 lone swords, 7 on his line, and 1 back here with the spears. As well, he has a heavy gunner and a Matchlock Ashigaru. Now, when it comes to Matchlock Ashigaru, I really don't like them. Even when they're veteran, I don't see them as a good unit, because by the time they get decent, they cost as much as a vanilla Matchlock Warrior Monk. And I don't know, I just like the Matchlock Warrior Monks better. I think they have better accuracy and do less friendly fire damage and whatnot. But if you look at his cav, he's got 2 Yari cav over here, and then he has 2 Naginata, or a Naginata Monk cav and a fire cav. So we'll go ahead and let this play out now. So I'm advancing my main army, trying to get plotted up in this tree line. As well, you can see I have these Matchlock Warrior Monks hidden, sneaking through the forest, so he doesn't actually know they're there. I want to look weaker than I really am. As well, I have my cav advancing through here, just trying to sneak along and not expose them yet. I don't know, I think when you're playing with a unit that's strong like cav, it's best just not to lay out all your cards on the table right at the start. They're kind of like your ace in the sleeve. But here you can see my bandit thieves actually advancing a little bit until I get in range, and then I'm going to use them to target his matchlocks. And what's funny, it's just so hilarious with this unit because he's sitting here shooting, but he just never pops out of hiding. So here you can see they still have the hidden icon on, and I'm just sitting here popping off shots on his Matchlock Ashigaru. I could have gone for his heavy gunners, but I didn't think that, I felt like they had too much force cover and they wouldn't do as much damage as they would to these Matchlock Ashigaru. And once again, I'm not really worried about these units. So here you can see his army starts to advance into my Matchlock range, which, because it's in tree cover, it didn't do too much damage. That first volley, it got, 9 kills? But here's what baffles me. Once I start shooting, he moves his general up here and puts his general in range of my heavy guns. As well, you can see I have these Matchlock Warrior Monks. Now with these guys, once they got up here, I drag them, so they wouldn't get exposed, except for this one unit did. So I don't know if he actually saw it or not. He's probably focused on my heavy gunners. And here I decided to go ahead and bust out my cav and take out his wings of cav over here. He doesn't really have any spears on these outside edges supporting them, so I figured it would be a good move to get early action. And what's so funny is even though these guys haven't come out of hiding, because his matchlocks are shooting through all my troops, you know, they're just nailing these bandits. So I went ahead and popped rapid volley on my heavy gunners, and since he put his general stand to fight directly in front of him, I figured, what the hell, might as well just go ahead and try to kill off the general. So you can see he really isn't paying attention, and I do manage to get in the charge on his cav over here, which doesn't do too much damage, but I mean, it's my great guard fighting, they're going to destroy these. And over here you can see my 3 Yari cav are engaging his 2 as well. So now you got my heavy guns, they're going off, and they're doing I still have my matchlock warriors back here as well. And I figured, you know, okay, well, he's not going to, you know, run and try to take out my heavy guns, which baffled me, because I just had this unit over here just blasting his men, and he's not even trying to attack me. And here you can see, you know, I pretty much win the cav skirmish. Just gotta maneuver these guys out of here quick after the cav battle to avoid all these Yari spears. Look at all that gun smoke. That's just from my heavy guns. Surprisingly, his aren't even really shooting yet. Here you can see he goes ahead and pops his rally. Now what I would have done if I was him, I would have turned my heavy guns around, so when I maneuver my cav back, it would have just, you know, blasted the cav in a heartbeat. But here I decide, you know what, he's not even going to advance, I'm going to go ahead and put my matchlock warrior monks up. So now, you know, all the blue, out of the blue, there's 3 matchlock units shooting at him instead of just 1. So let me go ahead and put this on slow-mo. You see I have my cav back here skirmishing, trying to take out his general. And he's already lost 1 Yari Ashigaru. His matchlocks are 42, his heavy guns are at 52. And a lot of these lone swords that were back here on his line are just taking severe damage from those heavy guns. And you can see his general's wavering, it's about to rout as well. So I already have my general down in stand and fight, just trying to let my matchlocks get off as much damage as possible. And what I'm doing with these heavy gunners, instead of focusing on one unit and trying to destroy it, I'm shifting their fire. So after they take a few shots on one unit, switching fires and trying to peg another unit. And I'm individually targeting, you know, other components with my other matchlocks. I don't think it's a good idea just to let your matchlocks sit and fire at will. I mean, it's just a terrible idea. So by the time his lone swords get up here, you know, with the exception of a couple, most of these units are pretty wrecked. And back here you can see my cav took out his general, and now I'm just wreaking hell on his lines, trying to take out his matchlocks. Once my lone swords and Yari Ashigaru engage over here, I'm just going to quickly pull my cav down to get these hammer and anvils in and break his morale. So I just completely shredded his whole infantry line before it even got close to my army. Even though he had 8 lone swords compared to my 2, or as I was, my 5, man, they just really weren't a threat by the time they got up here. And here I started to get a little worried because they actually did, you know, get one of my units to rout. So I did pull my general out and went ahead and popped on my rally. And now my heavy gunners are out of ammo, but that's fine, I'm not too worried. You know, what's left of my forces can easily just come over here and, you know, clean up what's left of his. So that was pretty much the battle. And, you know, actually, I really like those little bandits. You know, they might prove useful in the future, you know, skirmishing with monks or whatnot, as long as you can keep them hidden. And, you know, if he does try to advance on him with cav, just set up some matchlocks back there for a trap. But anyways, it was a decent battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take it easy, and I'll go ahead and show you the stats. Now, I didn't do the voice recording on the stats, so you're just going to have to look at the visual display.